So if you're here for the Cinemassacre panel, you have come to the right place. We have an applause. All right, thank you all for coming. All right, so we do have the Cinemassacre panel here coming up. Our first panelist is going to be Justin Silverman. So everybody give a big round of applause for Justin Silverman, please. All right. Our next panelist is going to be Ryan Schott. Big round of applause, everybody. Ryan Schott. All right, and last but not least is that James Rolfe guy, Cinemassacre's very own angry video game nerd. James Rolfe, everybody. James Rolfe.
Yeah, Orlando. Great job. Home of the Orlando Breakers. You guys remember that? You know what Orlando Breakers is from? No, Coach. Remember the 90s show, Coach? Orlando Breakers was your football team. Come on, guys. Yeah, Craig T. Nelson, Mr. Incredible himself. Anyway.
We're off to a great start, Justin.
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't know it either.
Well, speaking of movies and TV, I know you want to talk about movies for a bit, James.
Yeah, we could talk about movies. But I don't know it's a video game con, but we're Cinemassacre, so we do movies too. So I don't know. I was thinking about well, you seen rental reviews? You seen the movies? Cool. Every Friday, yeah, pick a movie. But there's a lot we haven't done that came out this year. And we don't typically review new movies. It's just kind of like they come out really fast. And I don't know, like how do you guys feel about them? Like sometimes a new movie comes out and you kind of need time to really think it over. And you have some good points and some bad points about it, but you don't really have a consensus.
We've had a lot of discussions internally about how modern movies kind of try to end on an emotional high. So you come out of the movie theater and you're like, this was the most amazing movie ever. I love this movie. And then, you wait 12, 24, 36 hours, whatever. And you're like, was that movie really any good at all?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
that happened to me when we reviewed The Predator recently. And we shot the review as soon as we saw it in the theater. We had cameras, we shot it in the theater. And I was like, yeah, that was fine. And then the next day I was like, oh my God, that was not fine.
Yeah.
Like you don't really think about it. So that's why we try not doing too many new movies. Like, we didn't
Also,
review.
scheduling is a tough one.
Yeah, because it's hard to be like, hey, the movie comes out Friday, let's get the video out on Friday,
Yeah.
So example, like we'll talk about that, but like we didn't do Terminator Dark Fate. We saw it on the Friday, and afterwards they're like, yeah, that wasn't worth reviewing.
Oh, I got my Carl's Drapery shirt right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of Terminator.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess the best way to think of Cinemassacre is critical of movies, but we're not movie critics. So a movie critic would see a movie 2 weeks before it came out, would do a write-up, that sort of thing. This is more like fan-oriented, more like just guys watching movies and giving their opinions, and less of like an industry thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Typically, I like talking about movies I love that stood the test of time. Unless it's so bad it's good. Maybe, there's exceptions like that. But a lot of times when I see movies in the theaters, a lot of times I'm kind of just like mixed. I'm like, there's some good things and some bad things about that. But being that it's near the end of 2019 now, and we've seen a bunch of them that we didn't review, not necessarily all together, but are there any movies you want to talk about? I mean, Joker was awesome. I think Joker might have been the best one I saw this year. What do you think?
I really loved the Joker. I loved how it totally subverts what a comic book movie is, even though it follows a lot of other dramas. It's not a comic book movie.
Well,
Yeah.
aside from ripping off like Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, which are two Scorsese films, which that's why he was critical of the film. It's like, hey, you kind of stole the.
He was salty, Justin.
I agree.
Not critical, salty.
Okay. I don't know. Like Joker
Is
was
salty
good.
like sour? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, he's soured up.
Yeah.
Let's say that the Joker movie, let's say you took the Batman stuff out of it and it's the Joker or whatever, would it still have been a good movie? Because it definitely wasn't like a comic book movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it, but they plan on doing a sequel because it made a ton of money. But does it really need it? And what? There's a spoiler alert, I guess. If you haven't seen it yet, he lives till the end. and
Oh,
it's-
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, his parents,
Yeah.
they get shot.
Yeah, but
Big spoiler.
but not by I almost said Jared Leto, not by Joaquin Phoenix. It was another guy, which I guess could turn into a copycat Joker. So you can say that's the Joker from the other series and stuff like that. And I don't know.
It's a great compromise of like the mythos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just loved it in general because it was more like a psychological horror film. And even though I'm kind of like done with superhero movies or trying to be done with them because I don't mind them. I think they're fine, but I've just seen so many. I'm just kind of like bored on the subject. But this one's, it's a super villain movie. It's not about the heroes. And it's just different. It's more like Taxi Driver done with the Joker.
Yeah, that's
and you got Robert De Niro in it, so it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, no, I really like that because the way everybody was like overwhelmingly like in love with the Christopher Nolan ones, like specifically The Dark Knight with the Joker scenes. I mean, I thought it was good, but I wasn't like over the moon about it. But the way people reacted to Dark Knight is how I'm reacting to Joker. Like, I think this time I'm finally feeling it.
Yeah, I was never really that into Batman Begins. The Dark Knight kind of got me into it, and then Dark Knight Rises got me immediately out of it. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I get it. It's Bane. I get it.
I love self-contained movies that don't have a lot of baggage. Like, you can watch The Joker, and that entertainment experience is just from the beginning to the end. You watch the movie, you got everything. You didn't have to watch 10 other movies.
Unless it's The Mummy 2017 that has a whole bunch of baggage for just one movie.
Rest in peace, Dark Universe.
The one movie, Cinematic Universe. I almost brought that shirt, my Dark Universe one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it.
Which,
Okay,
which sucks because I'm like a Tarantino guy. I just didn't feel like seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the Tarantino name, I don't think it would have got on my radar. I mean, it takes a lot to get out, to go to the theater, to see a movie. It's a lot of times the best movies of the year are ones I see later that I didn't know about. But being a Tarantino film, of course, I went and saw it, and I thought it was pretty good. It was unusual the way Tarantino's structure is. He does whatever he wants, because he's Tarantino. But I felt like the entire movie was the setup, and then like the last 30 minutes was the movie. Like the plot didn't start till the end. And another thing I thought really interesting was just I've never seen a movie show the Hollywood Hills, like basically like the celebrity areas, like the homes in the Hollywood Hills, where it's kind of just like a maze of hedges and like gates and just hills and like these windy roads that just kind of disappear. I've never seen a film depict that so well because I think Hollywood filmmakers, it's probably just too close to home, where just like it's not interesting to them. But I think that area is just fascinating because it's like another world.
I drove up in the Hollywood Hills one time, and coyotes came up to my car, right up to the side of the car.
Yeah, crazy stuff happens.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if that's crazy as in the movie, but
And there's parts where like the road ends and you're just driving on rock. And it's somebody's house. So somebody's house is here, and you're driving on a rock. It's not even paved.
Yeah, it's just weird. Anyway, I thought that was pretty good. I said I'm kind of done with superheroes, but I still saw a couple of them at least. There's Captain Marvel, which I think was this year, wasn't it? It was a while ago.
Yeah.
It must have been like early 2019.
Well, you had to watch Endgame. So
Yeah, and it was
Did
like
you?
2 months before. Well, you didn't have to. But
you kind of had to.
Yeah.
They kind of forced that upon you.
I think So, but I saw it. I think it just came out on VOD like right before that. But yeah, Captain Marvel, which by the way I totally forgot to add Endgame to the list. Yeah, but anyway, that goes to show how much of an impression it made on me. But Captain Marvel, I thought was cool that it was in the '90s. With all these other movies, they tend to. Not superhero movies necessarily, but they make so many movies set in the 80s now. Like the 80s is so damn popular. It was cool to see something in the 90s. And that Blockbuster video, I think it was the Blockbuster in Portland that we went to actually just recently.
Maybe.
They
It
had a
was in a
picture.
shopping center, yeah.
Yeah, because they had a picture of it, Captain Marvel in the Blockbuster. I don't know if they just did that because it was Blockbuster.
They probably just did it because it was the last blockbuster. They probably
Yeah.
shot that on a soundstage in like Sherman Oaks, California, or something like that.
I hate like de-aging people or CGI or anything like that, but I thought that the Samuel L. Jackson parts really worked well in the movie. Like I thought that he was cool in it.
Yeah, the eye thing had me laughing hysterically. Yeah, so okay, the Marvel movie. So Endgame. I mean, like by the time we got the first Avengers, I was like kind of excited to see it, just to finally see all those same characters in the same movie. And then when it got to the second Avengers, I was like, okay, you know, I don't know, I've seen it before. Third Avengers, I was just like, oh, I'm done with this. And then Endgame came out, everybody's raving about it. I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta see it. And then I was like, yep, I still feel the same way. I'm just bored by it now. But that's just the ensemble ones. I think I still like all the standalone ones.
You have severe superhero fatigue,
yeah,
as they say.
there's too many. And then I saw Spider-Man, Far From Home.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty good.
You saw it with me. We saw that.
Oh,
Like literally.
No, I wasn't with you in Far From
I
Far
think
From
you
Home.
were.
No, I was not. And I actually only saw the Spider-Verse movie like 3 weeks ago.
oh, I
like,
saw that too. Yeah.
and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's what I want.
Yeah. I might like that better than Far From Home, actually. I
And,
liked
yeah.
Far From Home. I thought it was pretty good, but I was feeling the superhero fatigue where I was just like, you know, I don't know, I've seen this before. I've kind of have it.
Yeah.
I think I've had enough of like big, explosive, you know, movies where like the action scenes, it's always somebody floating in the air against a computer-generated background, and they're shooting lasers out their fingers, and it's just, I've seen it so many times. I just want to, I'm more about ideas, like just brand new, fresh ideas and smaller stories that are just relatable. I don't know. I just want to see new stuff.
My favorite part of Endgame was watching Kieran watch it because he was like a kid in a candy store. He just adored it.
And it's so depressing for me to be like, how could one person love it so much and I can't get into it? Because nobody wants to be a party pooper. It's just, I can't get into them. Of course, I did have to leave the theater like 3 times to pay the parking meter because it was so damn long.
Yeah, we
And
saw it.
every time I came back in, I could not follow what was going on. Like, I was not following the plot every time I'd leave. So I was like, okay.
Hey there, Peter Parker. You got something for me? I don't know. I just. And what's so weird is the story revolves so much around the end scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which a lot of people didn't see. And even
I think that's the one I didn't see yet.
Yeah, and even Captain Marvel, some people didn't see it. So, I mean, compared to the amount of people that saw Infinity War, so it seems weird that they rode so hard on those 2 movies to do the whole time jumping and quantum stuff to like save. Because much like how my favorite Harry Potter film is 7 Part 1, Infinity War is my favorite Marvel movie because it ends on a downer and everyone's upset. So, I'm upset that, you know, I thought Thanos was right, and everything was better off. Like, there was no problems. They just lost a bunch of jerks. So
Speaking of Endgame, what is our end time? Just so I know.
7-ish?
Is it 7?
I got a thumbs up.
7
That's
o'clock.
a 7.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure so I can pace myself, okay? So, okay, El Camino. You see that?
Yeah, I saw that on the plane to Portland Retro.
Okay.
And I haven't seen Breaking Bad like since it ended. Like I binge watched it and watched the last episode, and it was. I'm happy I didn't rewatch the series because it probably would have made El Camino like not as good. But when you get the flashbacks and stuff, I thought that was really good. And El Camino is the Breaking Bad movie that came out on Netflix. If you don't,
It's basically
know.
the continuation of Breaking Bad, but as a 2-hour movie instead of a whole season. Yeah, no, I did. I never expected that I was going to get that. I always wanted to see what happens to Jesse after that. So I was really thrilled. And Breaking Bad, I think, is like my favorite show aside from The Twilight Zone. So I would say Breaking Bad is my favorite serialized show I've ever seen. It just blew my mind. So seeing El Camino, I was just like, wow, this is going to be awesome. And yeah, no, I really dug it, especially the vacuum cleaner guy. I think he's my favorite.
So I've
He
seen
died the same day.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he died the same day that got released.
So I've seen half the movie.
Oh, okay.
But I really liked the parts. I saw up to the point where he goes to the vacuum cleaner shop and
Oh,
he's
that's when
like
it gets
trying to
good,
get them
yeah.
to take the money and all that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm totally invested. But then my kids woke up and I had to turn it off. But
Yeah,
it was really good.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The only thing I didn't really care for as much was jumping back and forth in time. I very rarely like that in movies. I feel like there has to be a really good reason. But I tend to like movies that are chronological as opposed to like jumping back and forth between two time periods. Also, never mind, it's a spoiler. We'll move on.
Do you not like Pulp Fiction then because of that same reason?
I don't know if that's the reason. I mean, I like some of the segments in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, you don't
more
like
than
Pulp Fiction?
I don't care for it as
Okay.
much. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I have seen people that edit it all together in like chronological order, and the movie's just not as good. I know that's a weird thing to
Yeah, like
say.
Kill Bill is like all over the place. Yeah, like what's the deal with putting all the action in Volume 1 and then all the dialogue in Volume 2? It's like it's so uneven. Yeah, like I mean, there's a good movie in Kill Bill, but you just gotta get some edits done.
I like
Get it-
Jackie Brown, and I like Inglourious Bastards more.
Oh yeah, no, I like most of his movies better than Pulp Fiction. I love Reservoir Dogs. I like
Well, the Reservoir Dogs time jumps as well, a little bit.
yeah. Well, Reservoir Dogs, it's like it shows you what happened and then it shows you how it happened. Like I feel like that one validated it, but then Pulp Fiction, it was just like, okay, well, I don't know. What can't we tell a story in order sometimes? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's done well. Like Christopher Nolan can do it really well sometimes. Like Memento was a really interesting one.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I have a Florida movie for you.
Okay.
Apollo 11 came out
Oh.
towards the beginning of the year.
There were at least 2 Apollo 11 movies this year. Like one was, fill me in. Which was which again?
So Apollo 11 is
No.
it follows.
Was that
Neil
the one with the
Armstrong.
real footage?
No, it's not
Like
real footage.
there was one with real footage, and then there was one that was like a dramatization.
It's
of
the
it.
dramatization.
Okay, First Man. That was First Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Apollo 11 was the documentary one, which it didn't have narration. It was just footage. That was good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, First Man was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that movie. And
Yeah.
capturing the jet test where Neil Armstrong's in there and he's trying to survive and all that, and he's bouncing off the atmosphere. It's like one of the coolest space movies I've ever seen because the stakes are
Yeah.
real.
I liked how it showed when he first set foot on the moon, and it cuts between everybody celebrating on Earth, and then up there on the moon, everything's like just dead quiet and lonely, and that was kind of a cool juxtaposition. Did you see Midsummer?
No, I want to.
Well,
Nope.
I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't think I liked it very much, but it has some good things going for it, I guess. It's weird, it's creepy, but I don't know. My memory on this one is like I saw him just like, what the hell?
But that was the guy Ari whatever who did Hereditary, right?
Yeah,
Ari
yeah.
Aster, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, it's disturbing, it's weird, but I don't really know if it amounted to...
Did you see The Lighthouse? I saw that.
Oh,
That was
you
awesome.
were telling me, what's Lighthouse about? I saw the trailer.
It's
but
about
what's,
a lighthouse.
What's...
It's Willem Dafoe and the new Batman, Robert Patterson, and it's whatever. And it's them in a lighthouse, and it's horrifying. And if you ever want to see a movie where Willem Dafoe pleasures himself and people throw feces at each other, this is the film for you.
So is it disturbing? Is it creepy?
Not to me.
No.
I thought it was fine.
Is it? Yeah, I just don't know what to make of
My
it from the
favorite thing
trailer.
is it's in an old classic, like 1920s aspect ratio, so it's just a square on
Oh,
the
the whole
scene.
movie's like
Oh,
the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I sat
Yeah.
like almost front row, and I'm glad because like if you
Yeah.
sat in the back, you wouldn't see anything because like
Cool.
it's just a giant square. It's not like widescreen.
And the whole thing's black and white?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. That's what I liked about
Yeah,
the trailer.
they
but-
shot on an old film stock and
cool.
stuff. Yeah, it's really good. It's the guy who did like the Witch, the Witch.
I didn't like The Witch, to be honest.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna like this.
The Witch, I think it's just the colonial time period just bores the hell out of me.
This is like
I don't know.
post Civil War,
Okay.
off the coast of like Maine or whatever in a lighthouse, and it's very surreal and weird. It's very Herman Melville, very Moby Dickish of like the madness of man. So it's definitely not for all audiences. I liked it more than Endgame.
I think I was trying to get Justin to see Zombieland or something. He's like, I'm going to the lighthouse, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think, what was I seeing then? I was seeing something else when that came out, but The Jordan Peele horror movies have been really good. Like, Get Out.
I didn't
But
see
there's-
Us.
Yeah, Us was, that must have been early this year too, because I'm kind of starting to forget about what the movie is, but it was like doppelgangers. Like everybody has a doppelganger that's like, hang on, I might be spoiling it now. It's been out for a while.
You can
but
tell that from the trailer.
yeah, okay. I mean, it was really good. It was really creepy. And then also that Twilight Zone series he did on, it was only on CBS.
I
All
heard that
Access.
wasn't the best, or it wasn't as good as the old
Oh,
stuff.
well, no. I mean, that's tough. But there were some episodes were better than others. Like they were. It's kind of like how the original show was. There were some really good episodes, and then most are good, and then some aren't. I thought there was a really good handful of good ones. The first one especially was about this comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he tells a joke about somebody in his personal life, that person disappears from his life.
Oh.
And yeah, it's good. It's like a really good premise.
Have you you ever watched the '90s Twilight Zone? I like that a lot.
Oh, I've seen some of them, not
Yeah.
that many.
I'm sorry, not Twilight Zone. Outer Limits. Did I say Outer Limits? I meant Outer
Well,
Limits.
okay, there was a '90s
There
Twilight
was,
Zone
and
as
it
well.
wasn't as
Yeah.
good as the old stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. They got Rod Serling in the new Twilight Zone. They like have a digital Rod Serling. It's actually really cool. Like it's just
Yeah.
it feels like he's there.
Oh, I heard Doctor Sleep. I don't think we saw Doctor Sleep.
I want to see that.
Just
yeah.
let The Shining be.
Tony saw it. Tony said it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony says lots of stuff.
Oh.
I think one of my favorite movies of the year, and Ryan, I was there with him. We saw the Deep Space Nine Star Trek documentary, What We Left Behind. That was really good. I highly recommend you check it out, streaming or otherwise. So we won't talk much about it, but definitely, if you like Star Trek, you should watch it.
It Chapter 2. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Didn't see it. I was happy with the first one. I'm like, they can live or die. It's whatever.
Okay.
Probably my favorite movie of the year right now. It Chapter 2. I like that they kept away from some of the like creepier things in the book, like unsettling, and they kept it to like it's a movie. It's very self-contained. I like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It was cool just to see it completed. I mean, when I went into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, really 3 hours? Do they have to fit everything from the book into the movie? The book is like 1,000 pages. If you ever seen it, it's like, it is like a phone book. It's insane. But I think it definitely seemed like they were really trying to like get the book right. The only major thing that they really changed was that they set it in the 80s. I mean, the adult part is in. Wait, hang on a second. Yeah, the adult part's the 80s right now.
It's in the present.
Adult part's the
No,
present.
the kids
are in the 80s
Whereas
because
back
of
in the day, it was 50s and 80s.
yeah, it was 50s and 80s, and now it's 80s and present time. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it's
it
like
was,
Stranger
yeah.
Things, or like everything has to be the 80s.
Yep, everything's got to be the 80s now. Yeah. We mentioned Apollo 11. We mentioned Joker. Rambo 5. Holy
Hell yeah,
shit.
that was awesome.
Oh, Rambo. If you would have told me that one day you'd see a 70-year-old Rambo who's even more pissed off and dangerous than ever, wow. Oh, my God. And at the end, he goes full Home Alone.
Home
Like
Alone,
he just
yeah.
sets up all the traps.
It's like, why are you digging tunnels behind your house?
yeah.
Just because I feel like it. Like, it doesn't, they don't explain anything, and I'm like, you know what, I don't even care.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, that blew my mind. I couldn't believe that.
It's definitely the second or third best Rambo movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rambo, I guess none of the sequels were that great. They all had their moments.
Well, First Blood 1's the best.
Oh, yeah, by far.
And then
But-
it's up to you if you like 2 or 5. 3's the worst. Don't even.
Oh, except for that end battle scene.
Where he drives
that's
a tank into a helicopter.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked 4 a lot. I thought that was pretty
Oh,
more
that
realistic.
shoot 'em up scene at the end. Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think Rambo 4 has the most kills per second, but Rambo 5 I think has the most brutal kills.
Definitely.
Yeah. Terminator: Dark Fate.
Ugh.
Well, did you not? I mean, well, we all saw it, and we all kind of. I'll just say the 3 of us said it was pretty good when we walked out. What do you guys think now?
No, we didn't say it was pretty good. We said that is an acceptable Terminator
Okay.
sequel that they shouldn't have made. As Tony says, it's the failed to start a trilogy. So this is the 3rd time where this is gonna fail.
I think Tony would love the beginning. if he saw it because of how much it would piss off, or how
Or
much it did
John
piss
Connor
off.
just gets shot in the chest.
Well, I wasn't going to spoil it, but I guess it's not much of a spoiler since it happens in the very beginning.
Yeah,
But
spoiler alert.
I had such mixed reactions to that opening because one thing I was just like pissed off, like there's no way. There's no way they would just do that. Like it was like a big middle finger to the first two movies.
The problem is
but
you're so entranced on Linda Hamilton. They like aged her
yeah.
younger, and you're like, wow. Did they shoot this back in the day? This like 4K, like she
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
perfect. Like they did
Yeah.
such a good job. And while you're thinking about that, you're like, did John Connor just get shot with a shotgun and he's dead?
Yeah. So the whole time I'm trying to figure out all this, I'm like, wait a minute. How did they? I mean, when I saw Sarah Connor, I was convinced that it was like outtakes or like deleted scenes from T2. I mean, Arnold, you could tell a little bit. You know, you could tell they put his face on somebody's body. John Connor, you know, it was really good, but he was maybe like a little too tall or something was off. But with Sarah Connor, you could not tell. And that's all I want to talk about. How did they do that de-aging? Is anybody talking about that? Because I would love to see an in-depth documentary showing, like, how are we able to do that now? Like, we're at the point in technology where we can bring actors back from the dead. We can de-age actors. The fact is we can do it, but the question is, like, when should we do it? Like, when is it a good reason to do it?
It's tough because you also have actors like Jack Nicholson who got full face scans and did all the things where he goes into a sound booth and goes like, bach, you know. So they can just make him in like 20 years as a full CG actor, young or old or whatever. So that's kind of what they're doing with Linda Hamilton, or like, you know, deep fake face stuff and whatever. I don't know where it ends, but I thought that was good.
This seems like where it begins. It's like, like wow. Like I'm just amazed by it. I just hope they make good decisions on when to use it. Overall, I actually had good and bad things about Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
I think.
Speaking of which, I heard they're making a Chinatown sequel that takes place in the 50s. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Right? And then anyone hear about that?
No. So,
Yeah, they're doing that.
The good things about Terminator Dark Fate, Linda Hamilton coming back was cool. I really love how they made her just pissed off, just a Terminator killer the whole time. The bad thing, in general, I just thought was like, it was kind of the new cast and the new Terminators. It was the same plot being repeated. It's like, okay, well, instead of Skynet, it's Legion. Everything was the same. It's like, well, can we move away from the same story convention?
Here's a question. Do you really need I don't even remember her name. Do you really need the blonde girl in the movie?
No.
I don't think so, no.
Like, why?
Do you need the movie either? I don't
No.
think you need it. And I mean, the fact is the movie exists. Then you make the choice. Do you see it or not see it?
Well, James Cameron's needs another like Malibu home.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you could please.
Like in my mind, I don't accept any of the sequels to exist in the real timeline, but I still enjoy seeing them.
I mean,
I don't. It just, to me, it's a separate thing. It's like, okay, here's a sequel. If you want to make it, fine. I'll watch it, and I'm entertained. The action was really good. There was some really good humor. I really loved the Carl's Draperies thing was hilarious.
You like that? Yeah, I like that.
It was, and if you call that number, Arnold has a voice message.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what's weird, the number that's on my shirt here, and the number that appears in a lot of the screenshots when you look up the movie,
Are different?
is a different number. But I've seen screenshots of both numbers. Like this is an 800 one.
If
but
you haven't seen
no,
Dark-
a 555 one. But the other one, the other one is a real number, and you can call that, and that's when supposedly you get Arnold. I tried it; it was busy, but yeah. Anyway, go
He
ahead.
was busy. So if you haven't seen Dark Fate, we're just going to spoil all of it, so close your ears otherwise. Okay. So basically, a few people are, which is interesting that you want to see that. So another Arnold comes back in time, not the one that melted in the lava. And I say lava because it upsets Tony. I know it's steel. Melted in the lava. Another Arnold comes back. That one actually does kill John Connor easily in Mexico. Goodbye, you're dead. I guess they kept sending them. And in the future, that...
So there could be like 1,000, basically.
Well,
that Terminator decided to become friendly because now its mission was over, and it opened up a drapery shop.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he becomes Carl.
And he has a family, and one of the funniest lines, like as a dad, this line just cracks me up when he says, "I can clean a diaper efficiently without complaint." because it's just like it's so funny because it's almost like taking a shot at anyone who's a dad. It's like, oh yeah, we all complain about changing diapers and stuff. It's so funny.
Well, and that scene they explain that the T-800s do not have wieners. Because she says like, oh, like how do you with your wife or and he's like, I don't, I just change diapers, and she enjoys that, and that's the scene.
The other thing they kind of gloss over is, Sarah Connor and John Connor were successful in stopping Judgment Day in Terminator 2, and it's actually a new evil called Legion. So.
It's the same thing.
But it's the same story. Yeah. It just happens different with different names.
So here's the Terminator movie I would like. You see a bunch of stuff before the war 3 different times. Theoretically, you don't even need T2. T1 ends on a pretty good note if you want to get crazy. Why not show the actual war?
Yeah, you know what?
They show Salvation, but that's like them building up. But I mean, like they win the war.
Like, why can't
post-war?
Why can't they make a Terminator sequel that fits into the same timeline instead of always rewriting the timeline with every movie?
Yeah, let's say they win the war because they have John Connor. You could bring back Edward Furlong, and there's 70,000 naked Arnolds rebuilding society. That would be fun. I would watch that.
Any more Terminator? Or you,
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I got to say 70,000 naked Arnold Schwarzeneggers in a panel. So.
Yeah. So did we all get Disney Plus?
Yeah.
I had to because I know these aren't new movies, but on Disney Plus, there's so many of the live action ones in particular. There are so many live action Disney movies that I have forgotten existed because they just haven't been released in so long. And stuff like that, and the $1 Million Duck, and Barefoot Executive, and A Flight of the Navigator. So I just saw that list, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to watch these all, and they're safe to watch with kids because I'm always struggling to find something that's PG, or less. So yeah, Disney Plus is like.
I want to mention that until James saw that list, he kind of went full circle. Like, we saw him, we're like, Disney Plus is a thing. And then he's like, whatever.
Because I didn't know what it was. And you told me, in your words, you said it's every Disney movie. I was like, well, I just almost bought every Disney movie on Blu-ray just recently, and now they're going to make me do this. Now I have to, like that. That's some tactics there. They just withhold something for that long, and then just when you buy it on some other platform or physical media, I mean, I don't even know because they're like, you can only get them on like Region 2. Like one day I was like, 101 Dalmatians. I like to show my kids that. I haven't seen that in a long time. Where can I get it? Oh, I can only get it for a Blu-ray from the UK for $20. It's like, okay, fine. And now Disney Plus comes out, and all your troubles are solved.
How many people here work at Disney? All right, get out.
So
this ain't on the subscription plan.
Getting back on the topic, and I think the final one that I can recall from this year is The Mandalorian. Have you guys seen it? Well, you're saying you're going to binge it later.
I was going to binge it later, but I will say the CG guy who worked on it also made the AVGN poster that we have for sale. Not to bring that up, but I was really excited about that. He's like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. I'm like, hey, I saw Baby Yoda, and I get it. I'll wait till it's all, because like I've been trained to binge watch stuff now thanks to Netflix and everything. So I'm like, what do you mean it comes out next week? I'm not doing that,
If you hate video games, which no one here does, you're gonna really hate The Mandalorian because the plot came straight out of a video game. Oh, I gotta find the egg. I gotta find the armor. I gotta do the thing. It's a video game. Let's go.
Do you know that until the past week, every time I hear people talk about it, I thought it was metachlorians. And I'm like, are you serious? They're doing a whole show about metachlorians, the thing that makes the Force from Phantom Menace.
We don't
I'm like,
talk
there's
about
a whole
that.
series about that. Why would they have two things with such a similar name? That's bullshit.
George Lucas is an idiot.
Well, he didn't make this, did he?
No, but he made metachlorians. The Mandalorians was already a thing in the books and stuff in the 90s. Like,
oh, the Mandalorians was the thing in the books.
Yeah, it's Boba Fett's race group.
I guess.
No, don't
It's
stop.
weird, right?
Yeah. Now I don't know what I think of the show yet. Did you see 3, the third episode?
I didn't see 3 yet.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
see 3
I
last
just
night?
did. Yeah. Today I saw it. Yeah. And I took during my break. I watched that. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know what I think of it yet. I honestly do not know yet. Yes, Baby Yoda is extremely cute and adorable. By the way, I don't think it is Baby Yoda.
It's not Yoda.
Like
It's like another whatever. What's
Yeah.
the race called for Yoda? They never said.
never defined.
I'm glad like 40 people screamed. It's not defined like
Yeah.
like the Disney
Yeah.
Plus suckers you are.
Yeah.
That's not defined yet.
Yeah. Now I still don't know how I feel about a main character, like to make a whole show about a main character who always wears a mask and doesn't speak very much either.
Have you seen
Like-
Boba Fett? Like, I think
Yeah, but why would you make a whole movie on that? And
Because-
not even Boba Fett, but his race. Not even like.
Well, first off, the Mandalorians are awesome, and if you like Knights of the Old Republic and all that stuff and the battles of that, like they are pretty badass, and they had to be put down by the Galactic Army. But regardless, people like Boba Fett because he looked really cool. I think in the original movies he says 7 words or
Yeah,
something.
he's in like one scene.
Yeah, it's like
I
don't.
didn't even know his name until like 20 years after when he, all of a sudden he's like this huge cult thing. And I'm like, oh, that guy in that one scene in Return of the Jedi, yeah.
From the Christmas special, you mean? Holiday special.
From the Christmas.
That cartoon's awesome.
Yes,
I don't care.
I stand corrected. He was from the Christmas special.
That's where he came from.
Sorry, I have a revision on Disney Plus. It's every Disney movie except for the Christmas special.
Oh, that's a shame. You know,
They should
it is-
combine them.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. Speaking of that, no. They do leave off things. Like they have National Treasure 2, but not National Treasure 1.
Oh.
Also, they have every Star Wars movie, yes, except that one. But they also don't have The Last Jedi. And you want to know when it comes out on Disney Plus?
2 years from now.
No, it comes out December 26th. So if you want to catch up before
the new one.
before episode 9,
Nope.
it's like fuck you. Yeah, thanks Disney.
Well, that's their fault for taking the deal with Netflix or whoever has it now. It's Netflix, right? They have it, right? Yeah. So you don't want to watch that anyway. I mean,
I'm sorry for my language. That got me fired up.
well, they're here for this panel. I think it's fine.
So, questions?
Yeah. So I think we
Yeah.
have a questionnaire. You don't have to raise up. They pre-selected questions as they came in.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So we did this very efficiently. So we have questions.
You have a lot of celebrity guests in some of your videos, from Macaulay Culkin to Lloyd Kaufman and people like that. If there's anyone else you could work with, whether they were in a movie or a video game, whether they're living or dead, from like Christopher Lee to Arnold Schwarzenegger, if they could review something they were in with you, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's really broad. Yeah. Wow. That's a great question though. Like who would I do a video with that is some living or dead? What do you guys think?
Me and Mike were talking about getting Sean Astin from Rudy and Samwise Gamgee to do Goonies, the game, but we weren't really sure. But I think that'd be a fun one.
I'm thinking Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
But I mean he's in almost everything anyway. Do you think it's possible?
You probably get Nick Cage to review something weird, like or
Yeah.
something normal, like we're doing Mario 2. Like, what do you think,
But-
Nick Cage?
Yeah, but if it's somebody dead, wow, that opens up the doors
You get Rod Serling.
significantly. Yeah, I don't know. Wow. I don't know. Jesus?
Yeah.
Next question.
Let's do this side first, and then I'll swing over to the other side. Anybody on this side got a question? We screened earlier. Okay. Did we talk to you earlier?
Hey guys. My question is, when it comes to making YouTube videos or original content of any kind, what's one of the biggest challenges that's really not ever spoken about publicly? Like just, it's not, it's something a lot of people don't think about. What would you say would be one of those challenges?
Oh, a challenge that doesn't come up usually. Making a nerd episode.
I guess making content in general
Yeah.
for online.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every aspect is challenging. Like scheduling it is challenging. Writing it's challenging. I mean, a lot of it's not really like too challenging. It's just time consuming more.
Audio.
Audio, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think
Color correcting, it's
Oh
time
my
consuming, yeah.
I would say 60% of my time is spent fixing audio and color correcting things so it looks passable.
Yeah.
There's so many issues with things, especially if you're filming in the public
Yeah.
or like a movie theater or whatever, and shielded cable and fluorescent lights and humming and
Well, I'm glad you're doing that now.
yeah, I'm surprised how you guys did it back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was such a pain. It's like there's always like some kind of sound you're trying to get rid of, or you're trying. The thing that always bugged me was getting everything to sound the same volume. Where you can put compressors on stuff, and there's all kinds of filters you can do. But at a certain point, that only does so much. You have all these layers of tracks and different things. Sound effect that's supposed to raise up and then go away, and then you're trying to do this whole mix of everything, and then it's like, oh, why does that one punch sound so much louder than that other punch? And then that explosion is like deafening.
That's
The music is just a touch too loud, where certain words I say are getting canceled out or like kind of drowned out by the music. It's like, oh, well, now listen to it on headphones. Now it sounds a little different. Maybe the music is actually too quiet. And then it has to go up, and you have all these like little
keyframes.
Yeah, where it's just like.
You can mess with video. You can fix bad video. There's ways around it. You could bring in a clip, something like that. If you don't have the audio, if the audio is not recorded right, you just need to re-record. Like it's impossible.
For one thing, you can see video. You can't see audio. I mean, you can see waveforms and stuff.
To combine this question with the last one when we had Gilbert Godfrey, we shot at YouTube Space New York, and thanks for helping, guys, because they put us in a room that was above a U.S. Marshal's office who used jamming technology. So all our mics are like, and we're like, what is wrong? And they're like, oh, what do you mean? Why are you recording audio anyway? We're like, oh, my God. Thanks, YouTube. So anyway, so Gilbert is so loud. We were able to cut the lows, but all of James's audio was like ruined because he's too low compared to Gilbert Godfrey. So James, if you watch Black Tiger, he ADR'd every single line of dialogue in the entire episode, and I was so impressed that you did that without a problem.
Yeah, it means I have to say the line over again and say it exactly how you said it, and I mean pretty much like as close as you can get, and then I'd give it to you and you tweak it to get it to the syllables to match up more. Some videos have had to be ADR'd. Like I remember Berenstain Bears there was a scene in an attic that was too loud. There was like some noise or something, and I had to redo all the dialogue from that scene, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, so I guess next question, Greg.
I think there was a question on this row.
There you go.
James, so where do you see yourself or like the channel like in 5 or 10 years? I just want to know.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, hopefully by that point, I just have another feature film done. I would hope in 5 years. So that's the only thing off the top of my head that I'm like kind of being able to see some of these goals through.
Yeah, we're hoping Skynet or something would have destroyed us all by then.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but we have been working on feature stuff and like the horror things you're working on. But as of right now, we're getting videos out 3 days a week, and we'll see how long we can keep that up.
Was there anybody else on this side who had a question that we talked to earlier? Did we talked to you earlier, right? We do. Okay, here you go.
Hi, James, everybody from Cinemassacre. I do have a quick, simple question, but first I did want to thank you, James Rolfe, Mike Matei, Justin, everybody that's in the Cinemassacre universe that does this, and most of all, I'd also like to thank Mrs. Rolfe for keeping your head in the game. I know as a creative mind, sometimes you can get down at times, and all the loving support that you need as much as you can, and I feel like she does that a lot for you. So thank you if she's watching this. Thank you for being an awesome mother and a wonderful wife to James.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I will relay that to her. Thank you very much.
Let's give there we go. Cool, but also, just my quick question is, as my hands are shaking, will we see in James and Mike Mondays, will there be any more Bootsy?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, we don't live close together, so it doesn't help.
How are you doing? My name is John. Nice to meet you. I had a quick question similar with the celebrity. I actually was thinking if you had the pool, would you do an episode if you got the chance to have Jim Carrey play like a Sonic game sometime, after the Sonic movie comes out?
Yeah. That would be pretty good. You want to?
That'd be a tough one to pull off. I don't know. I don't. I'll just say it. We do plan to review some more Jim Carrey movies soon. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to work on this side of the room. Questions?
Yeah, I definitely want to review the Sonic 2020 movie now, but that won't be
Yeah.
until February.
Hello, James. My name is Ryan. I've been watching for about 9 years. I'm about to graduate college.
Oh, cool.
So one thing that's always been on my mind ever since you became a father is, are your children aware of your job?
It's a tough thing to explain to them. I mean, the oldest one is like about at that age where she's like understanding stuff, but I haven't revealed everything about the job. I don't show her the videos yet. Maybe soon, but it's like, with all the language and everything. I've been trying to, be careful with that. But I will, as she gets older, explain more about that, the world of YouTube, everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Who else on this side?
Evening, gentlemen. Have y'all considered doing a podcast weekly, daily?
I guess it's. I mean, to be honest, I feel like rental reviews is kind of like a podcast.
We did talk about taking rental reviews or retail reviews and cutting the audio and just turning that into a podcast. You can put it somewhere or whatever. But I don't think the audio quality is good enough because it's not like we're all just, hey, everyone, we're here on the pod. It's the mic's like over here or it's like on our like lapel or whatever. So it doesn't sound that good. We thought about it. I mean, me and Tony did a podcast for a few years and it was terrible. You watched it? Yeah, it was terrible. So, yeah. So, I don't know if we would do that again.
Okay, this gentleman right here.
How you doing, man? Question. What is a wind rammer?
I have no idea, but it sounds funny. I mean, I don't know. It sounds kind of violent, but I'm not sure.
Like you got that it's like
Yeah.
live like a wind rammer as you.
Yeah. That guy, yeah, he sent me a bunch of emails that are just like these totally nonsensical stuff. It's like a character he does. Like it was, like he wrote me one like not in character and was just like, oh, I'm real happy that you used it on the, the mailbag episode. And it was really cool. So, yeah.
Because that was the funniest thing
I know, me too. Yeah.
I've never seen you laugh like that before.
Yeah. I'll have to watch that again sometimes. I think it was like a 3-minute laugh or something. I don't know.
Only those have been pre-screened, please raise your hands. If you haven't been pre-screened, don't raise your hands.
Pre-screen.
Pre-screen.
TSA.
Yeah. TSA. Yeah.
I met a couple of TSA guys. They're probably sitting around here. There we go. And I was like, yeah, thanks for destroying our stuff in Portland that one time. Thanks, guys.
Hi, my name is Elias. I've been watching your stuff since 6th grade. So, yeah, I know. It's, no, my question is, since you had Gilbert Gottfried play Fred, have you ever talked to the actual guy Fred before?
No, I haven't.
No, but we definitely ruined his Google search. And we felt bad about that.
Yeah, the real guy is a film producer, and it's Fred Fuchs. Which, in the video I was just making a joke, but as I went on, Fred Fuchs just became like a fictional character to me, where it's just like a separate entity, where he's just like...
He probably went to school in the 50s, like, Fox, like, they're making fun of him. He's like, well, I'll show you. I'll become the best film producer ever.
Oh.
And then 40 years later, you're like, ha-ha, like, ruin your Google.
So I'd like to think of him as with the CKS spelling as the character played by Gilbert Gottfried. But then there was also one that appeared in one of the video games. So, did we talk about the game?
We didn't talk about
Oh,
the
crap,
game.
let's go with the game. Yeah.
So, the AVGN games were, they came out 2012, 2014, I think. And, new systems have come out since. Technology has grown since all of that. So, what we're doing is we're taking AVGN 1 and AVGN 2. We're combining them in the same engine into a single game. That game's going to come out for Switch, Xbox, PlayStation.
Don't forget Steam.
We remastered all of the graphics. We streamlined the way that you live and die. How it cut to the screen before and kind of took you out of it. Now you could just go really rapidly to it. There's a mode where you have infinite lives, so you could plow through and see everything. We added a storyline going through both games where you can kind of connect them together. And we added a third chapter to it that you can play, which is a challenge tower. It's fun seeing the nerd doing the Dr. Wily UFO thing up to it with the middle fingers and stuff. It's pretty good. And that game is going to have a physical release as well.
Eventually.
Yeah. So, we're working on that, and I'm really excited about that. We brought back Sam Beddoes, the original developer, and we've been producing it ourselves. So there's a lot more references from the newer stuff, but also a lot more references from the older stuff. And you could still play on the old difficulty as well and access the gameplay as it was before, but we've added a lot of new stuff, and the new backgrounds just look amazing.
Yeah, and if you want to play those now, they're at the booth.
Yeah,
all
you could
weekend.
play a early demo. It's about a month and a half behind where we are now at the booth. We have 3 stations set up.
And
Did we get everybody
Yeah, I
that we
think-
had for the
Is there you still got more people?
Is there any questions that I missed who were screened earlier? Anybody that I missed?
Oh, somebody over there?
Somebody
Right here, I think, on the wall.
Yeah. Also, I will say that tomorrow we're doing a panel as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have Saturday passes, so I guess joke's on you. Much like Disney Plus. Tomorrow we're showing next week's AVGN episode early. So.
So if you come back, if you're here Sunday,
Hi.
here tomorrow, you might want to come back to the panel again. So yeah.
Mind you, it's a pretty rough cut, so sorry.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Jacob. I'm a huge fan. You can see.
Yeah.
I'm in the costume.
Oh, you got the power glove and the whole get up. Yeah. I could see too much of that with the lights, but yeah, I appreciate the frown.
Yeah, I got that perfectly down.
Yeah.
So, since you're making an extra game, have you ever thought of making a second movie?
No, because the next movie I want to make is a horror film. And also the first one was so elaborate. It was like, hey, let's make the independent blockbuster of films. And it was just like, I mean, the first one, if you count the writing of it, it was like 8 years of my life, that movie. And it's like, well, I'm not going to go through that again for the same idea. So I have too many other ideas that I want to do. And now I'm just thinking, well, there's no way I'm going to get to everything. What do I want to do the most? So this film I wrote is what I want to do the most. So yeah, hopefully in a few years or whatever, we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And if you want to make an AVGN movie, you have the costume, so
Oh
good
yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
We'd love to watch
Yeah.
it.
I'll probably think about it. Maybe I might actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody I missed?
Oh, okay. We can maybe one more guy.
Did
Is that
everybody
all right?
pre-screened?
There's one guy in the side.
Oh, is
here.
it the whole crew that's sitting over there? Oh.
Okay.
We got
I
time?
thought
All
we
right,
told
so I
them to
guess
go
we'll
sit
just
back
knock
down
through
again.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
I like your original review show. I got a suggestion. Let's do Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, okay.
I would love to do Buckaroo Banzai and the entire Fifth Dimension. That'd be great.
That's right.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
They reference it in Ready Player One. Remember that flop? I can't believe they did that. I like the book. You like the book? I like the book. I didn't like the movie.
All right, I'm Frank. I'm one of the two people that Justin mentioned for TSA. So that's my buddy Max. It's the other one he was talking about there.
Yeah.
Okay, so aside from being huge angry video game nerd fans, both myself and my kids, we loved your You Know What's Bullshit segments.
Yeah.
And in fact, actually, a running joke that we've had since it's been like a year since you put one out is, hey, the topic should be, you know what's bullshit? How long is taking him to come out with a new one here? So
That's.
Yeah, and
I just have to say it right now. That's actually the opening line of the new episode.
Okay, so right.
Oh, can we get that? Well, I don't know. Can we get that tomorrow?
Well, I'm glad you. I'm glad you love the idea.
Hey, thank you for reminding us.
That's going up tomorrow, and you won't see it because you're only here Saturday.
But you will when it comes out. Yeah.
Okay, are you gonna post it on YouTube or anything like that?
Yeah. The only thing is, well,
January.
we have one done.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get a batch of them done before we start releasing them.
I think you have 14 recorded, 14 of them. But you need to edit them. They take a while to edit.
Yeah. Are there any specific details you'd be willing to give us on those, or is that
you're
at liberty here?
The first one, I mean, I actually read it at a panel. I read it out loud,
Yeah,
the
you can
script
say
to
it.
it. So it's the word bi-monthly. And to get into it now, I have to go into like the episode, but it's like 3 minutes long. But it's basically how the word bi-monthly could mean. It could mean once every month. No, it could mean once
every 2
other
months.
Yeah, it could twice a month or once every other month. Bi-monthly, two meanings. So if you say it to someone,
Yeah, because we were trying to figure out what the new schedule of them was. We're like, we'll just do it bi-monthly. They're like, well, we can't do them every 2 months.
we were actually having a meeting, and we were like, hey, so we can get, You Know What's Bullshit episodes out bi-monthly, and the meeting goes on, and then we realized that half the room thought we were talking about twice a month, and the other half thought we meant once every other month. We're like, wait, what do you mean? Like what? And then we were like, that's an episode.
Yeah. Because then you start talking about bi-weekly, and it's the same problem.
One last thing I want to mention. My daughter, she really wants you to make a full-length version of Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
So just another idea there for you.
Oh, nice. Glad you like that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey.
My question was already asked, so I'll ask you another one.
Okay.
How do you feel about filming locations?
Oh,
doing more of that.
Oh, like going to
like when you did
public movie.
Went to California and did the Star Trek locations.
Yeah, stuff like that would be awesome. I definitely want to do more.
I bring that up to James
Yeah.
like once a year. I'm like, when are you going to do another one? Because I'm a huge fan of those as well.
Right.
You know?
And I got a new one for you too. I've been researching Bray Studios a lot, like where they film the Hammer films and everything, and there's really interesting stuff about that.
In England?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hi. My name's Bimmy. Do you have any interesting stories working with Lloyd Kaufman?
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Let's see. I remember one time. I'm just thinking of random stuff now because it's every second it's something funny. But I remember when we picked him up and we're in Philly and we kind of drove through an area where, I knew some like bad stuff that went on. I was like, oh Lloyd, that right there in the corner, that's like I heard it's like the biggest crack house in the city. And he goes, whoa, where? Drop me off right here. Drop me off. And then there was one time when we were at a convention or at a screening somewhere, and we were some fans were taking pictures with us, and we were just like, like we were all kind of, just taking pictures like this. And then in the background was the bathroom, and there was like, the urinals and everything. And I was like, you could see the urinals. Why don't we just move so we're not like in front of the bathroom? And Lloyd's like, no, this is great. Everybody come in. And then he brought us all in the bathroom, and then we all just took pictures at the urinal like we're pissing. Yeah, it's like that. I'm like, that must be how he directs the trauma films.
I
That
love
would explain a lot.
I've hung out with Lloyd a few times at like different events, and he's always like not drunk. He just kind of stands around and watches and makes jokes. But his wife is amazing because she's I don't know if she still is, but she was head of the New York Film Office.
Mm-hmm.
That like if you need to shoot something in New York, she's the person that you go to. So she's like a real human, not a mutant. And it's great when she's there because she's like, I'm sorry about Lloyd. Like she's amazing, but like Lloyd's a really cool dude. But it'd be funny if you had them together because she'd be like, stop.
Oh, Michael Hertz is funny too. Like we were in their office one time, and like their desks like face each other, and we were filming that interview with Lloyd that one time at Trauma, and Mike was filming it with me, and we were setting up the cameras and the microphone stuff. I was like, "Oh, Mike, can you move that that camera over there or whatever?" And Mike Hertz is like, "Well, why are you guys so nice to each other? Why don't you just say, hey, dickhead, move the fucking light, you asshole."
They're from New York.
Hello, James, Ryan, Justin. Before I begin, I just want to say I'm a big fan of yours. I've been watching you for almost 10 years. It's an honor seeing you today. My question for you, James, is what inspired you to create the Nerd?
It was just playing the games and laughing about them, and just kind of playing these games remembered as a kid, and then seeing that they weren't quite as good as I thought, and there were these flaws. You're a little more critical as an adult, and I just found the humor in that, and I just decided to make a couple videos on it, and that was that. And then I went back to my other project, and then YouTube came out a couple years after that, and then Mike convinced me to put them up on YouTube, and then I made a new one and called it the Nerd Trilogy. Was going to just leave it there, and then it just picked up, and then more and more people kept saying, "Oh, you got to make another one." There's so many games, and Mike was he was like kind of like the biggest fan at the time, and he was just kind of like just encouraging me. He would bring games over, he'd be like, "Oh, Roger Rabbit, you should do this one," and so that's how it got going. Thanks. Yep.
Thank you all for coming.